It's Pete from Cheap Homesteading, and today's the day we're going to start working on the Gravely. If anyone's been with the channel for a bit, they'll see a couple years ago I got a Gravely, and I paid $200 for it. It was an awesome deal. It was actually 2 Graveleys. It sat, and I just didn't have time to do it. So today is the day we're going to start working on this thing. I want this thing up and running with a brush cutter on the front because I really think it'll come in handy with me clearing some land. And if I don't get it running now, I'm just not going to get it running at all. This thing will definitely be a few videos because it's sat for a long time and it needs a lot of work. But today we're going to start with fixing the tires. So let's go. I think this thing's called a Pro 12 because I think it's a 12-horse Kohler on it. I'm not 100% sure. And it's basically a little walk-behind tractor, which I could see being really handy. But the problem is when things sit for a long time, they're a lot of work to get running again. And tires are expensive. This size tire is next to impossible to find without spending a ton of money. So at work, they had some tires and they're going to be pretty much thrown out. And they got some real nasty cracks. Something happened to the rubber. I don't know what happened to it. But the rubber is really brittle. I'm just hoping that when I put them on these that it'll be good enough to hold air. That's all I need. The only issue is they're a little bit shorter. Because I had a hard time finding those tires without spending a ton of money. So I'm going to throw them on there. The only worry I have is maybe that it won't be high enough off the ground, but we'll just have to see how this goes. So now we got it up here, and it seems like there's a ton of play on this shaft. We better take this off and we'll just see what it looks like. The shaft, the hub looks okay. It seems like it's just my keyway is all wore out. So we're going to try to track down a 1/8 keyway. On these Gravely rims, you have these bolts which actually hold the 2 halves of the rim together. But then to take it off the hub, you just remove these 3 bolts. Just come off here. There we go. Look at that. So now we're going to remove these 3 bolts and the rim will come apart. And one thing, if there's air in the tire, make sure you take the air out of it, because if you unbolt this rim, when you have air in the tire, you're going to have things flying and you probably get hurt. So this one is clearly the air is out of the tire. Ooh, a little rusty. Let's see if I can get this out. Wow, it's stuck. I think the rust is holding it in more than anything. Let's poke it. There you go. stuck. Oh, that's stuck in there. Really, really good. This is just a nylon tire, so I'm going to try to cut the bead out of it and then pull the tire off and then just cut what's left of the beading surface off. Okay. Wow. Come on. This thing's fighting right to the end. There we go. That wasn't so hard. See what happened? I got all rusty and it kind of stuck the actual tire right to the tire right to the rim. Wow, that wasn't too hard. I'm gonna clean up the rim and then we're gonna put the tire on. It's a very simple thing just to get a tire on a rim, but that thing was rusted right on there. So now we're gonna put the tire on. So ag tires, the arrow points in the direction you wanna go. We'll put the side that doesn't have the valve stem, just slightly stick it into the tire. First, you put the tube in, you fish it into the tire. These rims, you can very easily pinch the tube because you can't really see where it is. Shove this in, slide the valve stem in. I'm going to shove the tube up onto this part of the rim so it can't be in a place where it's going to get pinched. See, they're not lined up, so you got to get a screwdriver in there and give it a shove. And then that lines up. So we're going to pump this up. See what the pressure is in this thing. 25. Let's let a little bit of air out of that. Okay, 20. So we are good. The reason I didn't want to put too much pressure in it, look at the center of that tire. It's got some really good cracks, but I think she'll hold together, at least what I want it for anyways. I think the tire's an okay height. That's what I was kind of worried about because the original tires are about another inch higher, I would say. That actually looks pretty decent. I think those are going to be good tires for it. Much better than was there before, for sure. They hold air. Wow, that's got a bit of an oil leak on this side. But I am not going to worry about it right now. I need to know that I can get this thing up and running before I start ordering seals in and stuff like that. Because if I can't get it running, well, it's maybe not worth spending my time at the moment at it, because there's probably other things I should be doing. So there you go. I got the tires on it. It looks pretty good. It doesn't look too low to the ground, so I think we're gonna be good. It definitely rolls a lot nicer with the new tires on it. So there you go. We got the tires on the Gravely, and tomorrow morning we're gonna try to get the thing running. This thing is so much easier now that I can wheel it around the shop. So I can move it and everything, so that makes it so much better. My goal is to get this thing up and running by next week so I can actually use it when I start cleaning my pasture. Not that I'm probably going to use it a ton, but I think it'd just be handy to have it up and running with the mower on the front so I can actually go and cut down brush and stuff around, and I don't have to drive over with the tractor. So that's about enough for this morning, and you guys have a good one.